This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. No matter how crazy things are, how fast the world is spinning, or how wobbly it is, let us always find joy in all that we do, because we, in the end, we're truly blessed. I know that some of you right now are going through some horrible, horrible times, loss, hurt, pain, just chaos, despair, everything. But there's always something to be rejoicing in, and so let's always find that. Today, the weather is kind of misty, damp, wet, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Just par for the course around here. There's things going on that are all kinds of crazy. The news is really focusing on, and I said this the other day, but the news is really focusing on this internal fight in the kind of the White House, GOP, Elon Musk. And maybe it's because it's a slow news week. I think it has more to do with just distraction. They're not talking about a lot of the things that they were talking about last week. So we'll see what happens, but in the end, it's politics, folks. It's politics. Try not to get too sucked into it. A lot of people really, really get into it because they think, some people still believe, that these people that go up there to Washington really actually do care for us and are really working for us. Don't get don't get bamboozled by that. News came out yesterday. An article came out yesterday about Amazon, the company. They are working on having robots, humanoid robots that are AI, that will be delivering your packages for you. Some of you live in areas that you get Amazon delivers. We don't get that out here. That's another thing that people, they're shocked out here. Like how long it takes for mail. Even if you have like an Amazon Prime or something like that, it's still going to take about 7 days to get a delivery out here. And that's on a real good time. Sometimes it's 10 business days, 14 business days to get a delivery out here. But in areas that you get Amazon Prime, they are developing AI robots, not necessarily developing the robots. They already exist. They're training them. They've built a facility in California where they're taking these humanoid AI robots that you've probably seen videos of all the different kinds out now, and they're training them to deliver packages. And so the plan is that a self-driving electric vehicle that has all the packages in it will come to your home, and an AI robot will jump out and walk up to your house and deliver your package. That's what I've been telling you about. We're hitting that point, folks. And here's the thing. The robot, the car, all of that, it's going to be collecting all sorts of data. It's recording your home. It's recording you. They already have drones that are doing this in places. There's drones that are delivering packages, drones that are delivering your meals. So this is happening. Also, note that as this technology develops, that's less and less jobs out there. And, we keep hearing that, oh, it's okay. America, I was watching someone the other day, it may have been Sam Altman or something like that. And he said, Americans are, ingenuitive. They will figure out some other type of job. Like it's some kind of Star Trek world. The computers and the robots do everything, but somehow, some way, there's still some kind of work for us to do. I don't think humanity is quite like what is portrayed in science fiction. And at some point, and this isn't just me saying this, in fact, several years ago, the World Economic Forum's Yuval Harari actually stated this, that at some point, it will be apparent that a certain amount of human beings on this planet are just not necessary. They're just useless breathers, right? They're not contributing to society. If everything is done for them, they'll just be, drug addicted, video game watching or something like that. Not much different than what a lot of people are today. It will just be worse. So at some point, it becomes apparent that a lot of humans need to go. There was an estimation the other day, and I've seen several of these that have very widespread numbers, but that by the year at the end of this century, due to AI advancements, human population will be much less. So let's just assume that Yeshua doesn't come back, that it doesn't all happen, and we just continue progressing in a 75-year period. There's estimations that human population could drop as low as just a few billion, all the way down to 500 million, due to AI. It's interesting. But this stuff is being advanced very rapidly. You know, that Stargate project I've been telling you about out in Texas, and then there's the one over in the Middle East. These are the largest construction projects ever in American history, and they're expecting it to go operational by next year. So we're not talking a decade down the road. You know, it's not like the Panama Canal where it's going to take years and years to develop this. They're expecting this to be operational, not complete, but operational by next year, folks. And so when I've talked to you about the possibility of reaching that singularity point, or at least a point to where robots and AI are really aware and in more control, you know, numbers showing 6 to 12 months is a possibility. I don't think that's that far-fetched. If this system, this place that's going to produce an immense amount, it's going to take the AI computing capability and, you know, multiply it many times over, is going to go online in a year or so. We're not that far away. We're just not. Shifting gears a little bit to something else in the news that I think is very significant. Just yesterday, I made a video talking about the possibility of Russia dropping a nuke or using a nuke on Ukraine. And I said in that video that I just personally don't think it's at that point yet. And I still sort of stand by that, but maybe my opinion has changed. I think that Vladimir Putin's the moderate in this. And since all of this uptick of Ukrainian attacks on Russia, Russia's been kind of quiet, and so is Vladimir Putin. A lot of people are saying that's a sign of weakness, but if you follow Russia historically and Vladimir Putin, that's not what that means. That's not. Russians, they don't emotionally react. They're very methodical. They're not a Western society. They're just not. They may look like Western society in physical appearance, but they're not in their behavior. And so they're not going to just, you know, emotionally react right away to this. They are planning and thinking. And while they are doing that, Ukraine keeps upping the ante. They have now attacked a bridge leading from Crimea to Russia. They're saying that there wasn't really any damage to that bridge, but it was a very good covert attack, even though there wasn't the damage there. Now they are dropping drones and missiles on Russia's electric grid, their infrastructure, and they've taken out different types of electric junction points. And it's reporting that tens of thousands of Russians in several different cities are without power because they are destroying that part of the infrastructure. Remember, all along, inside Russia, they have made it clear that if it ever got to the point that the homeland was truly at threat, that if the existence of Russia became under threat, then they would use nuclear weapons. And so just since the whole, you know, if you want to call it the Russia Pearl Harbor event, and whatever else you want to call it, where the drones hit Russian planes, there have been many other things that's happened. And Russia has, they're not just doing nothing. I mean, they are, you know, launching drones and missiles and stuff into Ukraine, but nothing to the extent that would seem retaliatory. So the question is as time goes by and as Ukraine increases their attacks inside of Russian territory, is the possibility of a nuke being used increasing? And I think so. And I think one of the things that would indicate that that's becoming more of a possibility is just the quietness of Russia and the time it's taken. Because here's the thing. If Russia is just going to retaliate using conventional weapons, maybe they're big ballistic missiles or a lot of drones or whatever, I would not think that they would have to take that long to plan that. I mean, they've been embroiled in this war for 3 years. You have to know that they have just stacks of plans just sitting there waiting to be used for the what if. And so you would have to assume that they already have attack plans and most of the coordinates that they would need to attack certain key infrastructures of Ukraine. And so if that was the plan, it's just, once the decision is red lighted, I would think that most of the plan has got to be in place already. That's just good warfare tactics, right? If they were tactical nukes, it would be the same way. The figuring out what to attack and how to attack that should be figured out already. But they're waiting, and I think they're waiting right now because it's quite possible that there's an internal debate going on of, is this conventional or is this nuclear? And as they wait and as Ukraine is doing more attacks, I think it becomes more and more likely. I'm still not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's becoming more likely. And understand, a tactical nuke is not like something you would see in a movie where, an entire city is taken out and miles and miles around is just burnt to crisp. But a tactical nuke, for instance, if a tactical, depending on the nuke, there's different, sizes and everything. But let's say one was used in New York City against a particular building. It may take out that building or take out a bridge, and yet the rest of the city, for the most part, is okay. It's not like it's a large-scale nuke. So, a tactical nuke may be taking out an airfield or, a weapons depot or something like that, or a ship. Yes, it's a lot of damage, but it's not quite like what you've seen in the movies. But in the end, it's still a nuclear weapon. And the media around the world will spread it as a nuclear weapon being used. And if it happens, and I suspect this is the reason why they are hesitant, because they know even if it's a small payload nuclear weapon, it's still a nuke, and it will dramatically change things forever. It will change things globally. Even though they may want to do that, they know that there's no going back at this point. You used a nuke in warfare. There's no going back. Now everybody's involved. Are we ready for that? And I guess the decision is on the Russians' part is, are they ready for that? And if they are, you better be ready. Even if not, even if they don't use a tactical nuke, this is escalating significantly. The reports are that the conversation between Donald Trump and Putin is that, and this came from Donald Trump himself, is that this war is going to drag out for a while, that Russia is not at all considering, peace right now, and that they will absolutely retaliate. So, you need to get ready, because here's the thing. Let's just say that Russia uses a tactical nuke, even a small one. That's going to kind of break that glass ceiling, using a Hillary Clinton term. It's going to break that glass ceiling. And so Iran and Israel, them using a nuke on each other, becomes less of a big deal. North Korea using a nuke becomes less of a big deal, because now someone's done it, right? And so watching things kind of spiral out of control globally could easily happen. Also, North Korea yesterday once again pledged that they will be by Russia's side and support them militarily in every other way possible in this war with Ukraine until it's over. That they will be, and there's word of troops being sent over and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's escalating. And even though what goes on over there may not immediately adversely affect you and I, it will affect us in the long run. And I think that we need to be prepared for that, because even if we're not, let's just say we actually do stay out of that war is connected to the Iran-Israel thing, to the China-Taiwan thing, and it's all connected. They're all buddies. It's all connected. And so as it continues to spiral, it makes situations all around the world more difficult. And so it's definitely something to watch, because something is up. Russia's taking a long time, and they're very quiet about this. And the fact that Ukraine just keeps pounding Russia is making me believe more and more that maybe a nuclear weapon could be in the works. That's the only, one of the few conclusions that you could come up with at this point. So, yeah, be getting ready for that. Keep getting prepared. And then, the AI robot showing up at your house, what are you going to do? I know the first thing a lot of people are going to say, oh, blow it away. You can't. I mean, it may not be murder charges, but, there's definitely going to be criminal charges for something like that. Stop buying things from Amazon. And then at some point, your mail carrier is probably going to be a robot. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This stuff is coming at us very fast. The next 6 to 12 months is like going to be another revolution, I would say, because things are moving so rapidly. And then from there on, it'll almost be like a new technological revolution every 12 months or so, at least for a while. And so you better be figuring out what you're going to do with your life. You're either going to have to just give in and be part of it, or you're going to have to work really hard to resist it in every way. It's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.